So what we're doing here, guys, is a quick test between CIO and Altaruss'. It is a test over basically the current rebalance, but we've reverted some of the changes just to see how the end game plays out with only half of them. I don't think any of my overlays or anything are working, so that's all good. No problems. So there's a lot of changes and I haven't actually got them in front of me, unfortunately. Since I last played, I haven't been around in a very long time, if you hadn't noticed. Been on a little bit of a hiatus. And Crary Lotus has kind of picked up the torch of rebalancing Stronghold Crusader. And while I'm not 100% on every single change, it has definitely changed for the better as a whole. And I think most of the changes that I'm not 100% on were made while I was here, while I was still a part of it anyway, so I can't really complain too much anyway. The main thing is the building costs. The fact that these things are now practically the same cost as they were before, in some cases. So obviously the flitch is cheaper, only 100 gold. The pole turner I think is a little bit cheaper, but it's half the gold, but it's the stone cost which will increase it again. So depending on the purchase price, 5 I think is at 70 is the default. I think it's at 50 or something like that. He knows something I know. CIO knows. Look at that farm. There must be an assassin around somewhere that I haven't got set up to see. Yeah, alright, yeah, so obviously there's an assassin somewhere around. Try and go for that Hots farm, and CIO's defending him with one on each corner, just to make sure. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about these changes. That ends up being about the same price depending on whether you're buying the stone, but if you're making the stone, then it's a bit cheaper. Blacksmith, I think that's cheaper than vanilla, but we'd actually made them cheaper anyway before that because we want people going to blacksmiths before we go to armorers. Here it is same price as the same price as the pole turners, which I think again is same price if you're buying the stone, and then here for the armor it is now more expensive, it seems. Yeah, it's the same price if you're producing the stone. If you're buying the stone, it's more expensive. Oh, here goes an assassin coming in over here. I'm not sure where the assassin changes are at, but a spearman and a archer are down. I mean, they obviously like it. That's not the way I personally try to do it, but I think that, I mean, it means he's able to get a raid in. And it needs to be a bit better defended than a couple units against an assassin, which I certainly see the appeal to. my original balance deliberately tried to stop that from happening. But yeah, I can definitely see why someone would want to. So he's got some slingers up here, which would definitely stop that from happening on Altaruss' side. So, as I say, I don't have the exact setup on me, so I cannot actually check all the differences. I can obviously check all the differences here. As you can see, these have all been changed. The cathedral is now far more expensive. Church, I think, at 25. I think the value of stone is now 25. So 5 gold each selling it, which would theoretically make it 10 buying it. So it was 500, so it's cheaper now. The apothecary, if I can get my words to work, is the exact same value, hasn't changed there. What else we got here? All the same. Inn's got a stone cost instead of a gold cost. It's 20 stone. If it's 5 each, that makes it the same cost if you're producing the stone. And that's the primary difference. That is not one that I would put in. It's just all these stone costs, which is it gives stone a different type of value, which is definitely, I can definitely respect why people like that, and all the people currently playing it love it. It's just, it feels like stone is now just a copy of wood. It's just now you just got 2 types of wood, you know. But that's alright. Plenty of weapons here. Trying to remember all the other changes. I know the costs of bows, buying and selling, has changed. He's deliberately changing that. That's right. Most of the weapons have changed values. Pretty much every unit has been changed in one way or another. I'm not sure exactly. I think the idea was that the Arabian archers are deliberately meant to be slightly more valuable now. So if you're buying bows, the Arabian archers are higher value, I think was the idea. Again, I don't really know this. This video is not really about the balance. It's just that there's been a disagreement on the changes to do with knights. The most recent change, the focus was on the late game, and the idea was that the late game was becoming a bit of a slog. The way how the balance had come in, it just was a real drain and a lot of effort and just not fun to play. So the changes that were implemented to fix that were to make most of the siege engines more powerful, but costing more by about the same amount. That way you're going to get less of them, do for the same cost and do the same damage, but you just don't have to micro quite so many units, which is just a lot of pain and agony trying to sort out. And the other change was knights. So the idea was that knights were supposed to be a unit that once you got the knights, they allowed you to snowball to victory. So you get for the first 4 or so, and they could get countered by small units that are out on the field. But once you're getting into 12 to 16 knights, that's 3 to 4 stables worth, you start being able to do so much damage with them that you just get your advantage gets bigger and bigger and bigger if you're the first one to get to them. The problems that Altaruss in particular has been saying is, one, that they're now too strong, and 2, that the late game issues of it being just a slog and awkward to get through has been fixed by the siege equipment changes, and so we've taken the knight changes out of the picture for this game, and we're just going to watch how the game goes without the knights change. Trying to watch something got destroyed here, which generally means it ended up here. Oh, that was a woodcutter. We're fine with woodcutters. I think he assumed that those trees were gone. So this is meant to be a good late game map, and to be fair, it does get into late game fairly often. Got a lot of spears, a lot of maces, a lot of archers on this side. And that's pretty much all we're seeing. That's interesting. I kind of expected to see more crossbows, because they had been made to be far more value. I'm not sure why he's digging that up. I've never seen anyone dig up that moat on Simulacrum before. Like, ever. He's not doing it. Breaking through this wall, very common, and I can understand the logic. Actually, I think that was Altaruss that broke that. But it was CIO that's gonna benefit for it, being able to come through here to get up this side without always having to come here. So it's more paths that you can get to the enemy, which means that Altaruss has to defend a lot more territory. No one broke this one. Anyway, so to compete, he's got his first knights here for CIO. And here goes Altaruss, he's got his swords out. Swords, spearmen, Arabian archers, a mace. Crossbowman, doing a bit of work over here. So I mean, we've got most units in use in play. The only units that aren't being used is the Arabian swords, which is not a huge surprise. They have been changed but given more power, but their primary purpose is, I guess, prior to this point, for not this map. So if CIO was pushing this point earlier on, Altaruss might have used some Arabian Swordsman just to push him off the hill and push him back. But at this point, you don't really need to. These guys aren't doing anything. So on this particular map, they're not quite so useful. What else has been new? No horse archers. Actually, no, we saw a couple of horse archers here earlier. Knights coming out. Haven't seen any pikemen yet. Now, both spearmen and pikemen do bonus damage to knights and to horse archers. Just to horses in general, essentially. Knights just wrecking those archers. What else? I'm trying to think of all the units. This is how long it's been since I've played this. Actually, can I go here? You can check. Got them. We've seen them. Haven't seen them. Mentioned it. I'm not sure why we haven't seen them. Also haven't seen any shields, which is interesting. Spears coming forward. Knights have to retreat from the ton of spears. So we have seen them. No engineers yet. Oh, here we go with those shields that I just mentioned. And even some monks up on Altaruss' side. Obviously we'll ignore most of the siege. Haven't seen any of those yet. We got those. Haven't seen any slaves, but on this map it's kind of hard to get slaves anywhere worthwhile getting them. So that makes sense. Slingers, we did see a few slingers up here in defense. I think we saw a few. No, we did not see any on CIO's side. Assassins, we have seen a couple of assassins doing raiding. Horse archers, we've seen a couple of those. Mentioned the Arabian Swordsman. And no fire throwers. And all in all, the fact that we've got almost every unit represented in this game is pretty massive. It's that's a respectable change. That speaks volumes for this rebalance. the fact that it's been able to make all of that worthwhile. Oh, you got some axemen, woodcutters fighting, doing not much. Archers stops in the perfect time, kills off all those guys. Let's zoom in. Let's have a look at these monks and shields. So the shield's going slower, which has been a change for a very long time, but if you're new to the channel, mention it. They are now going at the same speed as pikemen, or crossbowmen, or monks, as you can see. Alright, so now the Macemen go down from Altaruss'. CIO should really be splitting some of these guys off to do some more damage up here, I think. I don't think he's going to break all of this. There's way too many monks in there for that to be winning that. And that's exactly what it is. He sends them back. Let's get as much eco damage as I can, seeing as I'm out here. We've got those those crossbowmen sitting behind the shields. Not that CIO has all that many ranged units to fight them with anyway. Now, CIO has to run away with his much faster army. That's the main advantage he's got. A lot of all these units are incredibly slow, so you cannot catch up with all these speed 1 units. And he's just he's doubling down on the fast units there. He's got a couple of swords. By the time you're getting shields, you really shouldn't be worrying about archers. You should be going primarily crossbows. The fact that crossbows are staying behind those shields is just a huge advantage. Alright, here come those spearmen from Altaruss'. The archers move out to try to get a few kills. He realizes what's going on, backs off the spearmen. Still takes a bit of damage. Random assassin getting slaughtered. Let's zoom out. Crossbowmen. So, as you can see, those crossbowmen will pretty much never get hurt as long as they stay behind those shields. I think you must select them all at once because they're all going at that shit. Oh, wait, no, the swordsmen have been sped up. The European swordsmen have been sped up to. I don't think they've got sped up that much. I get the distinct feeling that might be too much, but if it works for them, I can't really say too much. No, you can't really complain about something that's been working for a while. I can make assumptions on how it might work, but if they've practiced it and it's working fine. Actually, they are falling a bit behind, so maybe they are still a bit slow. You know, speed level 3 and or something. I think originally they're speed level 5. Double thickness walls here from CIO. That's the Maceman, I think, that's pushing CIO off. Because he just doesn't have the melee to compete for value with all those monks. Monks are just the highest value for gold in the game. And, you know, CIO just doesn't have the gold to lose against this. I'm not even sure what the response will be. I mean, siege is obviously always an answer to the shields. Okay, we're going for a tower. Square tower, which means he's probably going to try to put something into that tower. He's probably going to put some shields up on the edge. Is that a ballista? That's a ballista! Why would you get... I've never seen a ballista actually used in multiplayer. With these shields, ballistas just tend to do nothing. Although I think one of their changes is that ballistas doing extra damage to shields. It's intended to be an anti-shield unit. Whereas before, it was always the mangonel. The mangonel, you send those out and they do tons of damage to multiple shields each shot. But the accuracy becomes a problem. And here we've got some ballista on the other side, again trying to get rid of all those shields. And Altaruss is trying to push that as close as possible, get his units as close as possible so they can stop that happening as fast as possible. The crossbows, it looks like they're trying to focus it, and here comes the Maceman to take it out. Makes sense. I mean, and all those shields going down. I mean, seriously, that was a big mistake for CIO to leave that stuff so undefended. Oh, we've got a... oh, that sucks. I actually noted in the change log for the SHC player that they actually fixed that bug. That cow would have created a thing. Fire! Yes, I like that. Use the pitch, get some pitch ditches going. Tons of damage. What's the unit difference here? Mostly on Altaruss' side, and Altaruss has the high value. And oh, what the hell are you doing? CIO sent his own melee right through all that fire. That hurts. But he seems to have won the melee fight, and now he's coming in to take out all those shields and Crossbowman. He's killing his own units with those rocks, I think. But that is going to be won by CIO. Let's have a look, and we see another army getting built up already by Altaruss, and CIO is well behind the curve on that. And there's still a few swords going at it. And it has been dealt with. It's been pushed off. Mate, we've got our own monks coming out now. But he's still committing to these much more speedy units. He saw this army. Yes! I like that. Look at all that disease. Look at the damage on that one. Look at all these reds and yellows and stuff. I love it. Well played. I mean, for what, 1-2 cows? That amount, I mean, it didn't get any kills, but the amount of damage it did was probably well worth the investment for the catapult. Although again, the price of catapults, it has been increased. Got it. Oh, that's a large gatehouse. Not sure if there's a point to a large gatehouse over a small gatehouse. And it has more HP, but it also has more surface area to be attacked, so surely that counters it. Now generally this eco from Altaruss just seems to be so much stronger than CIO's, which makes sense why he seems to be able to get so much more gold. Or so many more units to replace everything so fast. And I think he's just got higher quality units in general, to be honest. And we're setting up the next assault. Look at all those engineers coming out. Those are going to be either catapults or ballista. I'm going to guess. I mean, they've been using more fire ballista. I would before I went away, I would definitely have said that those are going to be catapults. But the way these guys have been playing, they may well be fire ballista. I mean, CIO have been primarily fire ballista and defense, and only got one catapult. There might have been one or two more that got destroyed, but still. CIO's gone quite aggressive with all this eco coming up here. Well, Altaruss hasn't even come down here. To be fair, I mean, CIO hasn't even claimed this extra stone. But again, like, that's changed with the value of stone going down. Sending all your workers all the way down here to get the stone isn't as valuable anymore as it used to be, which is a shame. But I mean, any value at this point, any value is good value, and you're not really using the stone for much else, so you should be able to sell a lot of that. Clearly, he needs more ox tethers at this quarry and at this quarry. And I also think he should be an assassin up here, wrecking some of this eco up here. I mean, assassin, spearman, maceman, whatever the heck you want to send. Spearman versus crossbows. Crossbows go down. I think he's going to send his knights around that way to break through. I think about now is when we're starting to call it end game. Once you got all the shields out, your siege equipment, lots of walls, towers with tower mounted siege equipment, massive armies. Those were catapults that got created with those. Wait, no, those engineers are still there. I'm sure I saw the top of catapult in there. I can definitely see catapults in there. Okay. This. I don't know if CIO's got an army to respond to that. That was a painful volley. And more coming down. I saw in the change log, one of the other changes is that when you create your siege equipment, the amount of stones you start with have been changed. Alright, I think he's deciding whether to take this assault over the spearmen with their bonus damage to knights. Is probably just giving me a little bit of a hesitation there. And the monks coming out, those will definitely give him a hesitation. You should probably want, I mean, with the catapults there, you really need to be doing something about this, and soon. This is not allies. We've got a first trebuchet here. Fire ballista, probably not the best place for a fire ballista, but hey, whatever works. Again, no, that cow landed on someone, didn't work. I've actually had people telling me that that doesn't actually happen. We've seen it twice in this game, so if that was you that was saying that, you know, the cows always, well, don't land on units and stop throwing up disease clouds, it does happen. There's the evidence. Oh my goodness, I mean, about half of those did make things, but that is a ton of damage, and Sear's not paying attention. Is he paying attention up here? No, he's not. I don't know what he's paying attention to, but to lose that much health on those units up there, that just hurts big time. I think he's just gone to sleep. And I think he's gone for a do or die attack. Where's the Lord? Lord's right up here. If you spam click these units past, you might be alright. I would send these guys up, see if you can draw as many of these units off to the left, and then send these guys around and go straight for the Lord. That would be my attempt, but I don't know if it's going to work with your own Lord. Where is his Lord? Oh, here he is, running away. And the units, the Macemen get pulled away, and he's the Spearman gets shifted around. Spam click, don't let them stop. Don't let them stop, CIO. Keep them moving, get on it. Good one, keep them moving. And they're going through. Keep them moving. Altaruss is not paying attention. These are all just automatic response units. That's why these guys are all standing there. He tried to wall it off, but he didn't do it in time. They're going for the Lord. Swordsmen are now coming out to try help out. Come on, CIO, you can do it. Spam click. This might actually be game to CIO, despite all the damage that Altaruss was doing. CIO wins. Where is his Lord? His Lord's over here. I mean, these guys could have done it. Yeah. I mean, that damage for Altaruss was pretty insane. Actually, the gold difference is not as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be much larger than that. CIO had more food, just a little bit more food, a lot less wood. Only a little bit less stone, about the same iron, about the same pitch, and a lot closer to the same amount of weapons than I thought I was going to see. I thought I was going to see, if that was 760, I thought it was going to be, you know, 400 to 500 for CIO. Highest population goes to CIO, which you had been taxing. I am very surprised that the gold was that close. Troops reduced 670, but again, Altaruss's troops were actually a lot higher value, I think, in most cases.